Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So I have my hair up in a shuku. I'm deliberately taking my time so the Dolapo can know how beautiful I look this morning. I have my hair up in shuku. I'm wearing a dark lipstick. I'm wearing a long dress that has some beads around it. And the color purple is the most prominent color in my outfit. And I'm wearing a black footwear, and I came with a beautiful wine bag. Should I continue? I would love to stand on the protocol that has been established, but before I proceed, I would like to say thank you very much, sir. Um, I'm a daddy's girl, and I think that's what stood out the most for me in that book. I'm a daddy's girl, and every father that I see that exemplify who I know God is always has a special place in my heart. Um, you are very resilient. And with my life, almost 20 years next year, losing my right leg above knee, I have come to realize that many fathers are not hands on with their special needs children. And when I see fathers that are, I revere them in a different way. Thank you for making her believe in who God has made her to be. And thank you for your continued support because she has not even started. I think that's the most interesting thing. She's so young. And when I was watching, I'm like, Jesus. There's so many years ahead for her. And to hear you say that this is a proud moment, I want you to brace up. There will be several other bigger, more impactful, and much better, prouder moments to come. So get ready for it. My father is 82 now, or 81, and he speaks of me in the most beautiful terms because I have brought him the most joy in his entire life. If my mom sees this, she'll start fighting me, but it is what it is. Well done, sir. God bless you, and thank you for being exemplary to all the other fathers. Thank you, sir. I will not go ahead until I say good morning to my predecessor, Mr. Dari. I've not seen him since. Good morning, sir. It's so nice to see you. Well done. Good morning, everyone. Well done to the entire team. You can see that this room is filled with people who are friends, showing support. And on a Saturday morning, well done and God bless all of you. Thank you so much. I'm going to start by reading what Anifat sent to me. At a point, I had to tell Auntie Rest is okay. I'm going to be there. I'm committed. Otito. And she said, I want to give you a free few points I'd like you to touch on alongside whatever you may wish to add. The keynote is meant to set the tone for the day by relating your journey with mine, tying it to through the layers, and showing that the diagnosis is not an ending, but a doorway to purpose, advocacy, and impact. It would also be beautiful if you could emphasize the importance of resilience in facing life's challenges and highlight how inclusive systems in education, in healthcare, in society can truly transform lives. Lastly, a strong encouragement for everyone who stay engaged till the very end of the program. When she sent that to me, I wanted to tell her maybe you should go write the keynote so that I can just read it verbatim. I'm sure the conversations here will touch extensively on the matters that concern you at heart. So I am going to speak as to what I believe very strongly is, what concerns me in this discourse. I want to say congratulations to you. Well done. There are many authors, but not many of them have taken the leap of faith to print it. When you print one book, is a big deal. Then you have several copies. It's a major deal. And this is such a beautiful experience of yours. I want to encourage you that continue. There's so much on the inside of you, and you know it. Continue, you have my support. So long as you are not disturbing me with many WhatsApp messages, you know that you have my support. And now to my speech. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We gather to celebrate the indefatigable Anifat and her power of words, the strength of stories. A great book does more than entertain. It challenges, it illuminates, and it changes us. It peels back the layers of the life we thought we understood and reveals the complex, often painful, and ultimately beautiful truths that lie beneath. I have the distinct honor of discussing such a book, Through the Layers, A Journey with Two Disorders by Anifat Sadu, and I remain grateful for this privilege. This is not merely a memoir, and as Honorable Mohammed Abba Isa, the Senior Special Advisor to the President, states, the book is, and I quote, a national resource that deserves to be on the desk of every policymaker which is serious about disability inclusion in Nigeria. It is a profound exploration of resilience, a raw indictment of systemic failures, and an unwavering statement to the power of faith and self-advocacy. Anifa's journey begins at the tender age of 3 after receiving injections for what her mother described as a mild case of malaria. What followed was not recovery, but the emergence of a long, arduous journey, one we term a nightmare. She developed bewildering symptoms, an awkward walk tilting to the right, muscular twist, and spasmodic, uncontrollable jerks. Her parents, convinced the faulty injection was the cause, especially after the nurse who administered it suddenly left her job and found themselves without the resources to sue the hospital. This early chapter sets the stage for a life defined by a relentless search for answers and a battle against a body that often felt like a stranger. The first layer of the story is, of course, cerebral palsy. Anifat provides an unflinching look at the physical realities of her condition. We see it in the grueling early morning trips to the National Orthopedic Hospital in Bobi, where patients and their parents were met with dismissive staff and a draining bureaucracy. We witnessed the fierce advocacy of her father, a man who refused to let his daughter's intellect falter, arranging for tutors who, when she was forced to miss an entire term of school, he became a self-taught therapist, meticulously observing doctors, asking a million questions and reflecting painful stretching exercises at home, telling his crying daughter, and I quote, "You have to bear the pain if we want to see real progress." His determination was a double-edged sword, a source of both immense support and nerve-wracking obsession, but it was undeniably born from a profound love and desperate hope for a better life for his daughter. But as the title suggests, this is a journey with two realities. Just as Anifat was navigating the complexities of her physical disability, a second unknown and unseen enemy began to assault its assaults. During her third year at the university, she was plunged into a storm of debilitating anxiety and a profound fear of death. This was not a passing worry, it was an obsession that consumed her, making her believe she was the next person to die on the surface of the earth. End quote. She describes this period with harrowing clarity. The intrusive, violent fantasies, the blasphemous questions about her faith that tormented her, and the crippling compulsions, such as repeating prayers, not out of devotion, but to silence the terrifying thoughts. This internal chaos led to the diagnosis that added another layer to her identity: obsessive-compulsive disorder and severe depression. Dr. Kafayat Ogunshola, a lead psychiatrist, rightly calls this book, and I quote, a vital resource for every mental health professional and caregiver, as it gives voice to the emotional realities that so many patients and families face but rarely articulate, end of quote. Throughout these layers of physical and mental struggle, Anifat's narrative serves as a powerful critique of the systems meant to support individuals like her. She recounts ignorance within the healthcare system, where a doctor misidentified her condition as polio. She exposes the profound lack of inclusivity in our educational system, from her WAEC results being inexplicably withheld to the agonizing bureaucratic battle for simple exam accommodations, like being allowed to type her answers at both universities of Lagos, I beg your pardon, and at the Bowen University. Her experience demonstrates a painful truth. Our institutions are often not built for people with disabilities, forcing them into constant, exhausting fights for basic equities. Yet, this is ultimately not a story of victimhood. It is a story of finding one's voice. And Eva transforms her pain into a platform. From being selected as a TEDx speaker at her university to winning the Inclusive Africa Icon Award in Kenya and being named the Disability Champion by the 25 Under 25 Future Forward Female Awards, she has refused to be defined by her diagnosis. Instead, she has embraced them, using her unique story to advocate for change, to inspire hope, and to educate the world. Through the Layers is a book that, as one reviewer puts it, I quote, deserves to be read across the world. It is a book for parents and caregivers, offering a window into the reality they may not always hear voiced. This is a story for educators and policymakers demanding that we do more to build a truly inclusive society. And most powerfully, it is a story of every person facing their own battles, a reminder that healing is not linear, but even survival is a proof of strength. Anifat, you have written this book and you have offered your testimony. A testimony that even when faced with unimaginable physical and mental pain, no one um, one can rise, one can find purpose and transform that pain into something beautiful and meaningful. And my urge to everyone here watching physically or joining virtually is to please read the book, absorb it, ensure you buy copies, give to as many people as you believe should read it, and ensure that it gets to the desk of as many people that matters. Because indeed, in these layers lie change. Thank you and God bless you. That's what I wrote. But I wanted to quickly add. And in fact, your book, your story is like my story. When I saw Ibobi in your book, I just smiled. I also had my journey with Ibobi. And I believe that when I got the diagnosis of osteosarcoma, I didn't believe it because there was a narrative back then that anything they didn't know how to treat in Ibobi, they would just say cut. So it started from my knee. So because I refused the diagnosis, we started to run around. By the time we eventually got to UCH, it had gotten to my knee and just slightly above. And I could connect to the dismissive nature of what you experienced because like you, on the day they told me that I had cancer as a 20-year-old, they just came inside and they said, young lady, so the result is this, and we just found out that you have cancer. This was like a Wednesday or something. And the man says, okay, so I'm going to book you for an appointment, a surgery, I think that week, so that we can cut your leg. So he now looked at me. No, he didn't look at me. And then he said, oh, young lady, I'm speaking with you. And I said, no, you can't be speaking with me. If you tell me to cut my little finger, I will need many, 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 many weeks and months to think about it. But you are telling me to cut a leg, and you are booking me for a surgery just some few days. I'm like, no, this cannot be cancer. And by that time, by the way, cancer was not common knowledge. I didn't know anybody who had it. I didn't know anyone who had survived it. I didn't know any amputee in Lagos or Nigeria. I didn't know anybody who had used a wheelchair. I didn't know anybody who was using crutches permanently. So I just knew that it was impossible and the diagnosis was untrue. Because unfortunately, I happen to be an only child of both my parents. So the other part of it was, why will it happen to us? I know other families that have 6 children. Why didn't it happen to them? I think it was in 2019, my friend for the first time looked at me and said, I've heard you say this thing about So who should it have happened to? Mention a name, and I couldn't think of a name. I couldn't think of a family. But back then, I just didn't think it was fair that this one family that had only this child, you know, and I left Ibobi, and that experience scarred me so many years about the National Orthopedic Hospital until I got to UCH. And my orthopedic doctor explained to me that he explained a few things and said what they did to me at that point was to save my life. That the nature of the aggressive cancer I had had, first and foremost, he's not sure as to why I was still alive because months and weeks had passed after that first diagnosis. And he believes that, yes, though they were not empathic enough in their delivery, he believes that what they did was their intent was to save my life first, but they failed in that delivery. Um, I have gone on and sent many people to Gobi in my personal and professional capacity. And I see that truly Nigerian doctors are one of the best crop across the world, incontrovertibly. Incontrovertibly. Um, as to the different things that people said, the perception, the discrimination, it's lifelong and it's ongoing, it's never ending. On a daily basis, I get messages, and one of the first things I always tell people is fight for yourself. Before you look for someone, you fight for yourself where you are. He doesn't know how many people he's going to look for. Fight for it. Let's start to scale it up because it starts from the littlest of places. Where here, everybody in this room can identify with the person that is living and waging the war against different forms of disabilities. And what you have done to each one of them is each one of them has become an advocate subconsciously. Each one of them sees another family, maybe at the shopping mall, and before you know, you say, I have a younger sister who I would love for you to speak with. I know an uncle who I'm sure that Oga you should be able to speak with. They would also make references to your mom to say, Madam, my auntie will be a good resource person for you because your family has opened the world into the realities that many of us never thought would exist. Never once did I think I would meet a person one on one who has a medical diagnosis of OCD because somehow in our generation, OCD is cool. People just think once you like a clean place, you have OCD. When we fail to realize that it is actually something that must be medically diagnosed and then you can go on from there. I stand here as one testament of a person who is resilient as you are. But there are days where we are tired. And there are days where we just want to sleep. Like this morning, I just wanted to sleep with my children in bed, but I've committed. But the point really is keep going. There are many generations that would acknowledge you for your resilience and your doggedness. I'm not going to stand here and talk about all the things are not working. So many things are not working. Pockets of things are working. And there are many things in the offings, which unfortunately I can't disclose publicly. The prayer really is that we continue to pressure in the little ways that we have, from the local level, local government, states, where I am, federal, pressure as many places as you should. Because again, if we don't do so, we don't lay a demand and place a demand on the people we have elected into political offices. It's the truth. Yes, I work in government, but there's a demand you place on me. It's very simple. And the ones that I cannot do, I'm not that person that I tell you, Auntie, this is not on our table at the moment. Yes, it's a great idea, but we're going to have to step it down till blah blah blah. I often give people time limits. So I'm going to take a step now and just say I would see you off camera where I would support you in the launch and purchase of a number of copies that we would agree will get into the hands of the people that need them. It's one thing to buy the books, it's one thing to give it to the books and just put it somewhere. We need to give the books to the people that need them. And a crop of people that I know need them are girls in secondary school with inclusive schools in Lagos. I've seen people who have done the same and I know how much impact it has on their lives, inclusive of their families. Because many of these families are scared. What will happen to my child? What future lies ahead for my children? I know you're going to spotlight Obiloba very soon. There are many of us that need to be spotlighted because of the amazing things that we're doing in the little corners that we're doing it. But organizations events like yours continue to amplify that together we are one voice. And all we seek to see is to see truly that across board, education, transport, healthcare, public facilities, policy, law, whatever, it becomes better. Lagos started, but Lagos can do much better, and that's the truth. Please continue to advocate, continue to pull us where you should pull us, continue to work with us where you know you can work with us. You have our support as an agency, and you know that, and you have my support personally. Congratulations, and God bless you.